Hi, this is the first instructional video on how to use Sales Engine. So first thing you want to do is log into Sales Engine. You got to type in your username and password. Once you do that, you're going to move into the home page. Now on the home page for the agents, the only thing that they will be using up here in the black tab that you see, basically it's the qualification button. They'll be using that to refresh the page whenever there's an error, whenever they have maybe a malfunction and they have to start all over again with the order. They'll use that qualification button. This is going to be covered in further training, so for now I'm not going to go into that in much detail. I'll show an example of what it does, but I won't go into much detail. So basically what the qualification button does, for example, if I enter any data here, now I can enter any information, and let me enter a correct zip code so it actually gives me information of a city. So any information that I enter here and submit it, or if I'm already in the qualification results tab or customizations tab, when I click on the qualification button, pretty much refreshes the page but brings you back all the way to the qualified customer tab, which is the home page. So again, I won't go into much detail regarding that. Things to focus here in the qualify customer tab: the qualify address box, the contact information box, the provider status bar. This pretty much follows you through the order. Once you move into qualification results, customizations, and review and submit tab, you'll still see the provider status bar, and you also see the disposition and card bar. Eventually you'll see something show up under the card which has bullet points. This is when you're adding anything that you add to the order. So if you add a DVR, if you add a receiver, if you add a modem, installations, anything that it's added, depending on the provider, you're starting to see bullet points underneath the card with descriptions for each edition. Okay, so on the qualify customers button, so in the qualify customers box, what needs to be entered here is the zip code, and then automatically that should find the city and state. Now what we see down here that showed up, these are pretty much contacts that have been found for this zip code. I haven't entered the complete address. As you can see, it has different addresses. So this is people that have called in from this zip code in this city. This is contacts that have called DMJ, and so they're saved on Sales Engine as contacts. I can actually select the contact if I click on select, and it's going to bring all the information and pretty much completes my qualify address and contact information. All you have to click is on check availability, and it's going to give you services that they're available at that address. Now I don't want to do that right now, but one thing to mention about the information down here is that it does give you the last time the customer called in and that their information was saved on Sales Engine. Last qualifications right here, for example. Now if they place an order, you'll see the order confirmation. So here you go, order place. You don't want to run another qualification and go through an order with this customer, because they already have an order. So whenever you see that a customer has called in and they have an order, now this is where the agent has to find out what happened. They might have to transfer them or give them the number to call in with the specific provider. Maybe they're calling in about the order. But again, they want to place close attention down here. If they see that order has been placed, they don't want to place another order for that customer. We don't want duplicate orders. What I'm going to do right now, I'm going to refresh the page. I'm going to click on qualification black button. It's going to refresh the page. Now again, here all you need is the zip code, the street address, the unit, city, and state should be automatically populated. We see the options for existing ATT customers. If they have a landline with ATT, you put the correct phone number right here. If they have a wireless phone service, you put the phone number right here. This is provider specific for AT&T and CenturyLink. So same thing for CenturyLink for an existing CenturyLink phone number customer. And if they're moving into a new address other than the one where they currently have the service, there's a checkbox for that. That's training specific to the providers. That'll be covered with the training for those providers if you're placing orders for those providers. So I won't use it here. So I'm going to enter the information again here, the zip code, and I'm going to enter an address. And I'm going to leave it like this. Okay, so I'm not going to click on check availability yet. I could click and it's going to start checking to see if the service is available, but I'm not going to do it. On the contact information, what the agent wants to collect is the primary phone number, the first name, and the email address to begin. Once you get that information, you can click on Submit Contact, and it should be ready to allow you to move into the Qualification Results tab. Now, let's say that I check the availability at this location. So I'm running the address, and it's running it through the system. Now, this red lettering boxes that I see up here, this is basically telling me that there's no service available for Comcast, Frontier, AT&T, or Quest. Now, this address I know is a AT&T address, which is read out right here. It's not bringing back any results. I'm in the training environment, so sometimes the system doesn't work with real addresses because you might have to use training addresses. Now, I do know that I'm missing the apartment here for this address. The system should provide a triangle next to ATT here under the provider status. When you click on that triangle, you'll see the screen will show up options for you to pick the address with the specific apartment or unit number. So if the customer forgets to give you the unit number, the system tells you, okay, there is a need for a unit number. Please select the correct one. And once you make that selection, then this box, the qualified address, is updated with the correct information. I'm going to put apartment A, and I'm going to check if it actually qualifies it or not. Again, I know that's an ATT address, but it might not be showing in the system because I'm in training environment. So I'm not going to use this address right now to move forward. I'm going to run another qualification, and I'm going to use an address that will provide a provider. Okay, so I've entered a zip code, and we see the city and state. Now I'm going to enter the address. I know that this has a unit number as well. You also see other contacts that I haven't created from this. This is a training address for Legacy Quest. So it should give me a result for Legacy Quest. Okay, while I'll wait for the result, again, this red is normal. You can actually close it if it bothers the agent. It doesn't have to do anything with the address, but you do want to see the results. You gotta wait until you see which providers are available. Under provider status, you can see that it's spinning, trying to find out who are the providers. At this location, Legacy Quest is available. Charter might be able, nope, it's not available. So the only option is Legacy Quest and Dish, which not everybody's going to have the option to sell Dish, but Dish pretty much is offered everywhere if they have a southern view of the sky. Now, so Legacy Quest would be the provider here. Now, if I try to move forward into the qualification results tab without entering any information here, or actually I can enter the information and then get the first name. But if I don't click on submit contact and I try to move forward, it's not going to allow me to do that. It's asking me to complete the information. You can click out of this box and it's just going to take you out or close it. It's asking you for the email. I'm going to select the no email option, and I'm going to click on qualify results tab, see if I can move forward. I still can't move forward. The reason I cannot move forward is because I haven't submitted the information. So you have to submit on this information. Now, before I do that, for email, you can either click on no email at the beginning of the call. Sometimes when you ask for the email, the customer doesn't want to give it right away, so you don't want to be very persistent because it might actually make the customer mad. So you have two options. You can enter no email at digitalmojo.com, which is the acceptable format when they don't have an email. This should always be used when they don't have an email. And then submit the contact, or you can click on no email. When you do that, usually this would be an empty field, and when you click on no email, nothing is entered there, and then you can submit the contact. I at least collect the first name, the primary phone number, which should be automatically populated here. You want to verify that it's the correct number, but it should be automatically populated when the plugin and the soft phone are working correctly with Sales Engine. The phone number shows up automatically when the call is answered. And then just either enter the email or pick the no email option, and you can see this change to edit existing contact or clear the form, and this one's an edit address. And again, down here, these are contacts. You don't want to qualify customers that already placed an order. Up here we have the disposition box and the cart. Disposition box looks like this. This dynamically functions with the tool. So at the end of the order, you're going to see this show up. You select either what it applies, if it was a call drop, no sell, order place. So once the call ends and you're in wrap up mode, you do what is appropriate and you submit the disposition. Once you submit the disposition, you're going to go from wrap up mode to available again. And if there's a call coming in, the agent will receive that call. And this is the card information. If there was more than one provider available at this address, you actually would see Legacy Quest, and for example, next to it, you would see Cox Communications. Um, when you move into the qualifications results tab, it would also give you the two options. So first of all, if you move into the qualifications tab and you're seeing the Cox information, the card is going to be showing the prices for Cox. And once you make that selection on the qualifications results tab to move into the Legacy Quest side of the interface, then the card would update and show you the pricing for Legacy Quest. So this is pretty much all that the agent needs to know about the Qualify Customer tab. I already qualify an address, the service is available, the contact information has been submitted. I can move into the qualifications tab. Now, next here to CenturyLink, there's an I. I do want to point this out. This I, when you click on it, it's going to show up, and it's called a Quest Session ID. Depending on the provider, some of them do have it, some don't. But if the provider does have this session ID, you want to copy it, and you want to include it with any screenshots of any errors that you get, of any bugs that you notice during an order, or something that stopped the order, or you're seeing an error message. Send the screenshot to the help desk, include the session ID if it's available. This way the development team can look into that specific call and they can see what went wrong in the order. Was it a tool that was not working? Was the provider not sending the information? So this is very important, especially when you notice errors within an order. So again, this is pretty much all that the agent needs to know about the home page and the Qualify Customer tab. I do want to talk also about up here. This is the Update the Contact Information widget. When you start moving forward into the Qualify Results tab and the Customizations tab, you should not be able to move backwards into the previous tabs. And to update, for example, the customer's information, sometimes when you grab it at the beginning of the call, you ask for their first name, they tell you it was Stephanie, or they'll give you like it's Tom, and you move forward later, you find out that their complete name is Thomas. So this is where you want to update it, and it should only be used for the customer's name, email address, and the contact phone numbers. You don't want to use it to update the address once you get past the Qualified Customers tab. It's very important that the agents know that. There's another guide for how to use the widget, but for now it's very important that they know that this should only be used to update the customer's primary phone number, secondary if applicable, first name, last name, and email address. And once you update the information, make sure to submit it. Okay, so again, this is ready for me to move into the Qualification Results tab, and I'm going to do that so we can see how it looks. So call comes in, I grab the address, I qualify it, I get the contact information, I submit it. Qualification Results tab is ready to move. I'm ready to move forward. Legacy Quest is available. You click on it, and now you're in the Qualification Results tab, and this is where you start making selections of the packages for the customer, and you get to see some of the options that they have available. Now, I'm not going to go into much detail right now. I just wanted to cover the Qualified Customers tab. The next video is going to be specifically about the Qualification Results tab.